Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go, go, go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Welcome, beautiful soul connector, to the Be Happy Now show, where today we get to explore the topic of the power of our body wisdom. Yes, the power of our body wisdom. In this episode, you will learn how this one intention has helped me to get rid of whole body rashes, I kid you not, and ways that you can tune into your body and allow your inner body wisdom to guide you towards self-healing. You will learn how to move past these negative, harmful, pessimistic thoughts and instead allow yourself to be hopeful, positive, and confident in your whole self. My name is Claudia-Sam, and I'm your soul connection coach. I support driven, ambitious, happiness seekers who feel stuck with where they're at in life and who feel like deep down they know that they're here for a bigger reason and they're not the happiest they can be. So together, I help them to clarify. We work on clarifying their path to purpose, and I use my tune-in method. If you're really curious about how the tune-in method can work for you, go to tuneinmethod.com and feel free to meditate with me and grab some free resources that I have on my website so that you can put yourself at the top of the to-do list without feeling guilty. Oh, yes, that is possible. Go to claudiasamcoaching.com for more of that. I'm going to be real honest in this show today, and I'm going to be authentically myself, where I'm going to share exactly what happened that allowed me to use my body wisdom to guide me. And so there's no secrets. I'm going to tell you it all. I'm going to give it to you right there. One time, there was this moment where it was December 2017. I'd just come back from living in Nepal. I went to teach yoga at the Shanti Yoga Ashram in the Kathmandu Valley of Nepal. And I came back from Nepal with rashes all over my body. I kid you not, it was all over my body. It was red, it was uncomfortable, and it was painful. I started mentally, logically, whatever quote unquote made sense. I started to pinpoint and blame all the ways, all the things. Oh, was it the malaria pills, or was it the coming from the hot to the cold weather of Alberta, Canada? What was that external situation and cause for the rashes? And I probably made a list of all the things of what it would be. I went to see an allergy doctor. There was not one allergy in my system. The more I got these rashes, because they kept coming back, and I used essential oils because I love essential oils and they are amazing for me as a preventative tool and soothing tool. They helped, and they kept coming back. They kept coming back at a different, they just kept coming back less heavy, but they would come back. So every time they come back, I'd have no choice to be faced with them and go, okay, well, either I take more Benadryl or I keep ignoring, that they're there, and I could just keep going on about my life. Except the reality was that I'm in this body for a reason. I was living through those rashes because part of my soul wanted me to heal through that. The more that these rashes came, so remember, the first time it was 2017. To this day, the rashes, they come as one rash, and when it comes, it's very small, and it shows up for a few hours and then it goes. Here's why. I tuned in to what that meant for me. I allowed my whole self to, instead of blaming and pointing to all the reasons and the causes why externally those rashes could happen, I started to turn the mirror towards myself and I started to ask myself, what's going on? What in my being is bubbling up? What wants to bubble up? That was what was coming up for me, because these rashes were, quote unquote, bubbling up on my skin. The bubbling up piece that was kind of, when you hit the nail, you're like, yes, that's exactly what it is, was when I tuned in to not feeling good enough. I tuned in to not feeling good enough. And not feeling good enough comes, I believe, in all areas of work, in all areas, pardon me, of life. We cannot feel good enough to be loved. We cannot feel good enough to have the job that we have. We cannot feel good enough to buy a certain thing at the grocery store. We cannot feel good enough to have a radio show. We cannot feel good enough of many things in life. And the whole picture of unworthiness, of not enoughness, was weighing so heavy in my body. And what I realized that was at that moment, when I actually go back in time and I look at what was happening in my life when I came back from Nepal, it was the first time I was coming back to Canada after a year and a half of traveling. It was not home, because my home is in Eastern Canada, or where I grew up. And now I was arriving in Western Canada after a year and a half of travels around the world without my job. I had chose to leave my corporate job. So that was December 2017. And in May or June of 2017, that's when I decided I was not going to go back to the job that I had put aside for, quote unquote, after the sabbatical that I was going to go on, that turned into more than a year. I was arriving back in my home country without that safety net of what I knew, the corporate environment, the get a job, to be paid, to be good in society, to be deemed as successful, to be deemed as good enough. I was finding myself in my country as a yoga teacher, and the society that I lived in was judging yoga teachers as not good enough. That's what I grew up with. It's not good enough to be a yoga teacher. No, you need to be at a job. You need to have a title. You need to go up the corporate ladder and have a job. That was what success was shown to me most of my life. So now I was arriving in my country without that safety net. And I was living the life that I internally knew I was going to be judged for. And there were the bubbling. When I found out that was what it was about, the not enoughness, it was probably 2020. So only a year and a half. Actually, no, we're in 2022. So like 2 years ago, where I realized that those rashes were in link with that. Here's what I did. Every time the rashes would come up, I would tune into my body. I would close my eyes. I would breathe. Breathing is really important. Breathe, because we're not getting into the mind. Again, we're not trying to pinpoint and blame and find causes that are external to our body. We are instead turning inwards and asking our heart, asking that body wisdom, asking that intuition to guide us. With the eyes closed while I was breathing, I asked, what are you about? What are you about? Why are you here? Why are you here? And I got the not enoughness piece. And here's what I did. I used this one intention to help me get rid of those body rashes. The intention that came to me. Now, this kind of, it's like a beam of light. You will often hear the term channel, like you channeled in information. For me, I completely channeled this intention, this affirmation, this positive saying that every time I felt a rash on my body, this is what I said. This is what I still say when one tiny rash shows up, because I think that not enoughness and worthiness work will be a lifetime thing. depending on the areas of life that we're working on, depending on where we're thriving, where we're not. And it's just always a practice. This one intention is this: I trust because I already matter. I trust because I already matter. Now, my past is in corporate. I spent more than 10 years in radio in the media industry. And then I worked in events in an amazing circus company. My work ethic was to do everything perfectly. My work ethic was to be so detail oriented that on the first big event I'd sold, when I worked after media, when I worked in the circus with the circus company, I was in event sales. The first event I'd sold, on the day of the event, I had panic attacks and I ended up at the hospital because there was this strong force between who I was wanting to put pressure on myself to perform, to do everything perfectly, to look at all the details, and the new me that was emerging. That was way before the body rashes. That was in 2016. And I remember the body rashes happened in 2007. Actually, I said way before. It's not that. Yes. Okay. Pardon me. The panic attacks happened in 2013. 2013. And the rashes and the whole using of the intention and feeling more worthy in my body happened as of 2017. So there were years in between that process. When I look back at what happened with my body in 2013, when I was working in corporate and I went to the hospital on the first day, the first big event I'd sold, I now see it as a mirror from my soul wanting to emerge out of me. Those old ways of being, of putting pressure on myself, of do, of go, of making sure everything is perfect, of forgetting myself and only putting my work first. That's what was, I was no longer wanting to be available for that. At least my soul didn't want to. Excuse me. I hope you're following me. This is Claudia-Sam of the Be Happy Now show. And if ever you want to know more about intention setting, about tuning into your body, at least if you want to practice what I'm talking about, go to claudiasamcoaching.com and click on the button that says meditate. You'll be able to meditate with me for free. I just have to cough for 1 second. I'm back. Thank you. All right. I believe that our body is the messenger for everything and anything. When you're stressed, what happens? Shallow breath. When you talk too fast, you cough, like I just did. Whenever there's something happening in our lives, whether it's grief, sadness, whether it's pressure, whether it's joy or happiness, there are ways that our body responds. When you feel joy and happy, you might feel free and open and balanced in your body. When you feel when you feel pressure, when you feel stressed, when you feel anxious, you might have a headache. You might be critical about yourself. The body responds physically, perhaps with shoulder tension, neck tension, maybe lower back pain. This is where I invite you to flex your soul connection muscle, to be your own inner guide, to tune into that inner body indicator. There is an episode of the Be Happy Now show about the inner body indicator, so I invite you to go check it out. When we create an affirmation like the one I did, that I trust because I already matter, it is something I channeled and is also something that I truly believed and still believe. If I have the rash nowadays, if it pops up and I say with a curved back, looking down and like gum in my mouth, I trust because I already matter. Me. It's not the same energy as if I root my feet into the earth, lift the crown of my head, roll the shoulders up and back, lift the chin a little bit, have a buoyant heart, and believe and trust and say, I trust because I already matter. I trust because I already matter. And say it in a way that just like there's no other way. The opposite of I trust because I already matter doesn't even exist in the way I pronounce it and the way I say it and the way I feel it, because I am the intention. I am becoming the I trust because I already matter intention in that moment. So what is really, really important, I'm going to say this again, is that when you tune into your body and you ask it, okay, what are you here for? What are you saying? By breathing, by tuning your attention within, you are allowing your heart to speak instead of your mind. Instead of going to, well, the doctor or Google would say, that is more of a logic mind, not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying to not go see a doctor if you have symptoms. Okay. If you can't crack the quote unquote code of what's happening in your body, it's not about not going to see a doctor. Okay. This is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is power in you tuning in first. There is power in you allowing yourself to be super honest and raw with what's going on inside your body, with what's going on in your life before you go for external help, before you blame illnesses, before you get diagnoses. Your body is such a powerful guide should you choose to let it support you. Your body is such a powerful guide should you choose to let it support you. Listen, at the first time those rashes came, remember, I went to see an allergy doctor and I used traditional medicine until I cracked the code to the not enoughness. And now when it shows up, I can totally pinpoint the thoughts that were going in my mind of, yeah, you're not good enough to do that. Even if it's for one instant, this is part of what my soul wants me to heal. So it shows through my body. And I'm not saying that this is it for everyone. I'm choosing to use this as my guide, my body. So when you tune into your heart, you close your eyes, you breathe, you allow your heart, your intuition to speak instead of your mind, instead of the head, instead of the logic and quote unquote what makes sense, so that your body can really speak. That body wisdom can no longer be distracted by the Googling of what can be, and especially can not go straight down the whirlwind of the, oh my God, what if I die? Oh my God, what if this is a super harmful thing I have? Because when I see the rashes now, if that's what I do, if I choose to go, oh my gosh, this is not over. Can you believe this? I did all these years of work and it's still not happening. What is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? I'm going down a tornado of negative thoughts. And it's not helping. Hence the I trust because I already matter affirmation that is positive, that is in present tense, that I'm allowing my cells and the wholeness of who I am to feel into so that it becomes my reality right now. When we tune into the body, when we allow ourselves to tune into the heart as well, that body wisdom, that heart, that intuition, right now, it's all the same. When we choose to be in that space instead of in the mind, that's when we allow our self-confidence to boost. We have more trust in ourselves and in our body. And it also helps us to remain positive and hopeful. So why not? Why not use positive affirmations? This is where, again, you get to believe, you get to turn up the emotional knob of, in this case, what does trust feel like in the body? So when a rash pops up now, it happens really seldom, but when it does happen, I remember that. And I tune into trust and I remember that I am safe, that I'm supported, that everything is okay. And I thank my body for telling me this message, for showing up for me, for allowing me to shine a light on it. And if you're like, okay, Claudia-Sam, I have these things that are happening in my body, like I have tingling at the edge of my fingers, or I have lower back pain, or I keep having these migraines. The first step here is that to remember that you are at choice. You get to make a decision whether you will tune into that sensation or not. And it doesn't make it bad if you choose not to. It's actually empowering to make a decision. Whatever it is that you choose, it's empowering to make a decision. So when your body shows up these things on your body, okay, and you want to have control over it, here's what I like to do. Breathe. Actually, first was to choose. Do I want to do something about it? Do I want to be with it or not? Make a choice without judgment. Then, if I choose to be with it, I be with it. That means that I breathe, that I feel into that space, that I imagine that I'm mentally taking an elevator down to the place where it's happening in my body so that my eyes can kind of be behind the place where it's happening, the sensation. And it can also be like you're using that elevator metaphor and you're bringing down the lungs so that when you breathe, it's like you're breathing there. Let's say it's at the lower back. Well, you can feel the breath and the expansion and the spaciousness that your breath can allow for you to experience in your lower back. So step one was to be at choice. Step two is to breathe and to be with that place in your body, that sensation. Step three, this is what I love to say to my body or to that part of me that feels tense or off track or out of balance or stagnant. I see you. I hear you. I'm holding you. And I'm trying to love you. I hear you. I see you. I'm holding you. And I'm trying to love you. Sometimes I'll add words like, you're really annoying me right now. I see you. You're really annoying me right now. You're really painful. I'm not sure why you're here, but I see you. I hear you. I'm holding you. Oh, yeah, I'm holding you. And I'm working towards loving you. I'll be really honest with that part of me, with that part of my body. What this does is that it allows your body to keep giving you messages. It allows your body to keep being honest with you. It keeps you coming into the heart, using your body wisdom to heal yourself. And again, I'm not saying to not go see a doctor if you have symptoms that you can't, quote unquote, crack the code to. Okay. What I'm saying is that there's a power in you tuning in first and allowing yourself to be super honest with what's going on in your life before you go for external help. And if you don't get a message right away, just keep seeing, hearing, holding, and loving or working towards loving that part of you that has symptoms. Yeah. This will help you to move past negative thoughts, past harmful and pessimistic thoughts. And it will help you to allow that affirmation to come through. What if the lower back is about fear of being poor? What if the lower back is about, carrying the weight of the world? Or maybe it's about not being able to move forward. Well, what if the affirmation you get is, I am always abundant and it is so joyful and safe to have more money? What if the intention is, I move forward towards my future with ease and flow and security? Whatever the intention is, you get to create it for yourself in the present tense so that when you say it, you can feel it as if it's already reality so that all your cells can go, ooh, this is really good. Yeah. I use my body as a messenger. You can too. And I'm so excited to hear from you about what you discover so that you can, instead of go straight to the, oh my God, what if I die? What if this happens? What if this is super harmful? What if I never get out of it and then it spirals down to be even worse? Like, you get to choose if you want to go down that route or if you want to boost your self-confidence, have trust in yourself and in your body, and remain hopeful and positive with loving affirmations. Thank you so much for being with me again on the Be Happy Now show. This is Claudia-Sam, your soul connection coach, and I'm here to help you flex your soul connection muscle and be your own inner guide to fulfillment and purpose so that you can be an active participant in your own life. And if you want to be able to put yourself first at the top of the to-do list without feeling guilty, I invite you to download my free 3-step audio guide to do just that. Go to claudiasamsoulcoaching.com/I'm important, and you'll get all of that in your inbox, and you'll be able to do it within 15 minutes. Yes, so that prioritizing yourself can be easy and fun and quick. Also, if you want to meditate with me and tune into your body more, go to claudiasamcoaching.com and click on the meditate tab to find me on Insight Timer, the free meditation app that is so cool that I couldn't live without. Thanks again for being here. Remember the power of your body wisdom. You have it in you. Keep trusting yourself. Keep having that confidence. There is no doubt that your body is strong should you choose to tap into its strength. There is no doubt that your self-confidence, your self-worth is in there somewhere, even if some days you don't remember. I'd be happy to partner with you in your dreams and to help you remember of that inner strength. You have it in you. Thank you so much. Talk to you again soon. Bye. You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. Tune in live every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudiasamcoaching.com.